wash services to the entire camp.
Yeah, and the reason is that in PHRP, it was only UNICEF who had given the project that they will be providing wash services in the camps. Okay, the other update is about Peshawar Valley in Delhi is that Palosa camp is going to be shifted also to Jalozai. So it's Palosa. Palosa is another camp, a small camp, which is having a population of about 400 to 500 families. 402. Okay. So it was discussed in the operational coordination meeting in Peshawar on Tuesday, and the authorities have indicated that they are going to close this camp in the coming days, maybe in 2 weeks' time.
Just a little correction here. 438 families, 2,701 IDP in Palosa.
So this camp is probably also going to be shifted to Jalozai, and they are acquiring some land for this purpose in Lebanon. And then it was also proposed that this last camp, which is called the Benazir complex, should also be shifted because it is having about 260 families. So when you consider that Jalozai already have more than 22,000, so if 700 or 600 is added, so we will not make that much difference.
Just one thing regarding this shifting. In the last CCC meeting at probation level, CAR has announced that no more registration to Jalozai. So I think this should be...
This has been revised. So there will be it will not be a new registration, they will call it a shifting. Okay. Closing down a camp and shifting that camp to this Jalozai camp. So maybe this is a news for you also.
Yeah.
So be prepared.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there sufficient space to expand?
That's what the government, they have acquired another piece of land. So as he is saying that there are 11 phases, so there will be 12 phases.
Phases are like 17 plus, but actual sectors are 11.
So there will be another sector.
Yeah, like now we are having phases up to 17. And in addition to that, we have state camps, state 1, state 2. So these are like, it's a city.
When you can just imagine that there are tube wells and networks and water supplies and everything, still there are about more than 300 trips of tankers taking place in the one camp, in this camp.
Up to 40 tanks.
So you can see that it's a huge operation. There are more than 8,000 toilets. And washrooms and washing pads. And
this is done with, who is managing all these tankers? The operations.
This is UNICEF's IP.
Which IP?
SSD.
SSD along with others, national, international.
Mostly the camp is with SSD, tankering.
Yes, SSD.
Yes. They are doing it for the last 1.5 years. It's reduced because there has been now networks adding up.
Okay.
So it's reducing. The tankering is reducing. But still there are electricity problems, and there are because new sectors are coming up, and you take a long time to have the network with pipes and all those things.
Yes.
So you have to continue tankering. Anyway, so if there is no question on the Peshawar Valley, by the way, there is also, I think it's active is doing some host communities wash services in Mardan.
Yes.
And it's probably Sawabi or it's only in Mardan. It's in Mardan.
In Mardan we have something.
Yeah, so this is also part of Peshawar Valley, in the host communities. The IDPs in Mardan, they were there in last year. They left in August or September 2009. But they had damaged a lot of infrastructure. Actives proposal, they are working with UNICEF funding, and they are, I think you are repairing and rehabilitating those Watson facilities which were in Mardan and which were damaged due to IDPs in floods, because there were 2.5 million IDPs in that area. Okay, so that's the update on Peshawar Valley. We can now finally move towards Malakand, which is basically early recovery. The major issue which was identified in the last Peshawar meeting was about the fact that NGOs are still not, or agencies, all the wash, even other agencies are not going in Upper Swat. Yes. And the reason they are giving, the agencies, they are giving the reasons are that when they submitted their proposals, at that time only the lower Swat area was open or accessible, so they prepared their proposal accordingly. And now the Upper Swat area is accessible, but there are security concerns. They are saying that there are 25 or 28 checkposts on the way if you have to travel to Upper Swat. But we discussed it with the authorities also, and they said that we can facilitate traveling. And the second thing, this was interesting, they said that if these people, they established their offices in Upper Swat, they would not have to travel every day on these 25 checkposts. So anyway, I would again, as we had suggested and advised and advocated for Rangu, we will again, same thing for Upper Swat, and we can offer the same services. If there are agencies who can work in Upper Swat, we will be ready to support them in their proposals. They can inform me. We as WASH cluster as a whole will support them for getting the funding if they are ready to work in Upper Swat. The rest, there was no significant, the progress is going on as far as the Mingora and surrounding Union Council is concerned. There are a lot of agencies. Mursikor is working in the urban areas also. And there are a lot of agencies who are working in the 8 or 9 Union Councils surrounding Mingora. Okay, finally, a word on the two tribal agencies, Bajor and Mohmand. Mohmand agency, there was a mission, intercluster mission, which went yesterday and today also. They are there. We will get a feedback from them in the coming 2-3 days, and I will share that with you. But it seems that Mohmand agency is opening up because I had a meeting yesterday with the guys who came back from Mohmand agency. It will be partially opened up and there will be significant, not significant, but a number of people going back. So this will be a new area where early recovery projects would have to be initiated. Bajor, I am doubtful because the people with whom we have spoken, they are still reluctant to go there. Not because of security concerns only, because they don't have any houses, no place to live.
There was just there's a security update. There was a security problem in Mohmand just now. They killed a soldier, some operation. So everyone keeps talking about returns in Mohmand and Bajor. I really have my doubts about how that's going to happen. I don't know. And depending on our access there, I don't see how that's going to happen. I really don't. We have no idea. There have been no surveys. We have no idea where the gaps are. So for Bajor and Mohmand, everyone really wants to, and in the durable solutions, everyone is talking about, what's going to happen. But do you really see this, like anything happening there?
I think it will happen. I have been to Bajor myself 2 times. I went there in August and September last year. And I've been to Mohmand also. The problem is that when we sit here in Islamabad, we think in a different way. 1 person killed or 2 person killed is something which is very normal in that area. See the bigger picture. It happens in the shower, it happens in villages, in settled areas of NWFP also. So it's not a big event which can change the situation drastically. Basic thing is that the government has a hold on that area. Now they want to bring in people. Until and unless the people go back, they will not be able to consolidate their hold. And there will not be a civil authorities taking over there. They will try their best if the people go back. There will be a significant number of people who will go back. Bajor is separate. Bajor has different dynamics. The reason is that the people who are in the camp right now in Jalozai, they are basically not the owners of the land in which they used to live. That's a separate issue. The owners of the land were different people. They were landlords, and these people who are now in the camp, they were actually tenants. Now when the government is providing compensation for their houses, basically the landlord, they are saying that these were our houses, our places. So we should be providing the compensation. And the tenants are saying that no, we were living in those houses. So there is a lot of discussion going on there. So Bajor, I don't foresee that this Jalozai camp will be empty very soon. So keep on your provision of services. Okay, so that was the update on the IDP situation across the province and the WASH response. Any question, gentlemen, while I